We need to step up to the plate and put our money where our mouth is in relationship to the needs of young people across the state of Michigan. There are needs that are represented by youth in our communities across the state that are not adequately being met because there aren't enough resources. Young people who do not get the help that they need end up in juvenile justice. They end up with mental health needs that go unmet. They are potentially looking at lives of adult crime and incarceration. Their ability to finish school and the graduation rate among homeless young people is low. We need to provide the resources for them to be able to succeed in transitioning into successful adult life.
We have really seen an increase in the number of youth who have utilized different means to seek shelter in our community, and many times youth who are desperate for a place to stay or couch to sleep on find themselves in inappropriate situations, which can lead to sexual and labor exploitation. As a youth homeless shelter, we are listed as a local safe place for youth who are victims of sexual and labor exploitation. Last year, we sheltered 2 youth from out of state, 14 and a 16-year-old, who were located in our county and identified as youth who were in danger and trafficked. The youth were found in a local motel with adults that they thought they could trust. Local law enforcement knew that in the middle of the night, the only safe, appropriate place for the youth to stay until they could locate the youth's parents was at our agency. We were able to collaborate with local law enforcement and our local Department of Health and Human Services to return the youth home safely.
When I walked into Trevor's place, it was way different because it was safe. Like I could automatically feel that safe feeling, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be today. Like, or compared to them to now, like I'm a whole completely different person. And it's crazy. But it was super friendly, and you could tell that like everyone there was doing their job because they wanted to help these kids that needed somebody and needed that love, that affection. Need to hear that people cared for them and stuff. We all came from broken families. I was into cocaine and ecstasy, and I got really bad into that. And if it wasn't for Trevor's place, I would have probably been dead. They ended up getting me into rehab, and I did rehab for 35 days. And when I got out, I never touched that stuff again. But they definitely like gave me a whole different perspective on the world. There were so many people out there struggling and broken and not knowing when their next meal is going to come from, or like if they're even going to be able to have a place to lay their head tonight.
I just felt like there was no safe place for me. I didn't know who to trust. I couldn't even like listen to myself because like a lot of people said that I was crazy. And for the most part, I used to think that I was crazy. But it like when I heard about Common Ground Sanctuary and like when I went there, it's like it completely changed my point of view about the world. It was like a safe haven for me, to be honest with you. I was able to speak how I feel without being judged or manipulated. If you're reliving a traumatic experience, they're always asking you what's going on. And whenever you talk to them about it, they do not judge you. no matter what.
I'm Naya. I'm 21 years old. I've been homeless on and off for about 4 to 5 years. Just staying with a couple friends, family members, house to house. Sometimes, pretty often, I will have to sleep in my car. I've mainly been in my car mostly because, nobody wants, somebody just always in their house for free. So, I stayed in my car for several nights, but it will be not the best because it's not the safest and it's not the most comfortable, but it is, safer than being outside and, super exposed. With me being young and homeless and looking for, spots to stay, I've been sexually assaulted, and it was like I really felt like nobody really cared what happened to me. Like a couple times I've thought about suicide and things like that because I didn't have the people who I thought supported me the most, and it hurt really bad, but it was their form of tough love or teaching me to grow up. But that's not how everybody needs to grow up. A friend noticed, that I wasn't really at home often. So she asked me, what my situation was, and she directed me to Arbor Circle. And I literally came the same day, the next day, as many times as I could because I really needed the help and support. And these were the only people that I felt like could help me and I felt comfortable with. And I really feel like it's a family type of environment. So they made me feel like somebody actually cared, like I had a voice and they were listening to me. And they tried everything they could to meet the needs that I requested. And I've met plenty of nice people that I still talk to today through the program. I would say to not give up, because if you give up, then obviously you're not going to know if you're going to get a good outcome or a bad outcome.
The Michigan Network for Youth and Families is a membership organization of providers across the state of Michigan that provide services to youth and families who are homeless or at risk for homelessness. The bottom line is there is a lot of unmet need out there. We as service providers don't collectively have the resources to reach every homeless youth in the state of Michigan. We served as programs across the state of Michigan, roughly over 3,000 youth over the course of our most recent contract year. So that's a large percentage of that 22,000 that is going unmet. I believe in the last 2 years since the onset of the COVID pandemic, we have seen where the strains and the vulnerabilities are in our systems, and we've seen more families than ever with increasing needs and increasing vulnerabilities to homelessness. Services are at limited capacity due to staffing and safety protocols. People are less hesitant to help out maybe an acquaintance or a relative because of the dangers of the pandemic and what that presents. What we need is an increase in funding that we haven't seen in large scale in many, many years. There are three main areas that organizations need in order to enhance their services. The first that I think everybody is experiencing right now is staff retention. We need to be able to offer competitive benefits, quality training to recruit and maintain high quality staff. The second is that we have many areas of the state of Michigan that don't currently have an identified service provider for coverage. We recently got a new organization in the Upper Peninsula that is covering 2 counties there, but the rest of the Upper Peninsula and portions of northern Lower Michigan remain uncovered. And finally, our existing programs need resources to upgrade their technology and infrastructure. Many of our programs operate out of aging buildings that are expensive to maintain. They need upgrades to their technology, to computers, to tablets in the field in order to efficiently and effectively utilize the resources given to us to serve the youth and families that are in need.